What's up? It's your boy Kazi, and welcome back to Kazi Plays. And today we're gonna break down all the information that the devs they gave us on the new season coming up and beyond that. Starting off with our first point, where they talk about us playing competitive with our friends, they go ahead and talk to us about this new mode that they're bringing, and it's called Wide Group. And essentially, Wide Group is gonna make it to where like low ranked players and high ranked players can play with each other without having like any restrictions. For example, if your friend's like bronze and you're like a plat or a diamond, you'll be able to play with them. The only downside to that is that so you're only going to be able to play against people who are also in a wide group. So and also they're gonna make the queue to make it so it's like more balanced. It's gonna be more hectic than a regular comp game, but they're gonna try to balance it out. So like if you are a plat and you have a bronze on your team, they're gonna try to queue you up also against somebody who is a bronze and a plat. One thing to keep in mind though is that with how wide your group is, it will dictate how much MMR you get. For example, a bronze and a champ. With a bronze and a champ, they did say that you literally will get little to no MMR. It'll be barely a difference when you're playing with that wide of a gap. Whereas a bronze and a gold, you'll definitely get way more MMR, or a bronze and a plat. And essentially, this is probably going to be something that's mostly going to be for like the lower ranks, from like bronze to plat, maybe even diamond. But masters and up, I don't think you're gonna really see them playing with other people in the lower ranks. Moving on to our next point, which is actually a pretty big one, the devs they go ahead and talk about how they're updating the penalty to people who leave matches. And on the unranked side, this is going to be up to your last 20 games played, but the penalty can go up to 48 hours of you being banned depending on how many games you played. And on the competitive side, this can go up to a competitive season ban based off of your most recent games played, not the last 20 like unranked. And what I want y'all to really pay attention to is the 5 games left that you played and the 10 games that you left. Pretty much one thing that I did notice is that with the 10 games that's left, it's only it's throughout the season, but with the 5 games left, it's just a competitive season ban. Now, to pretty much explain this, if I'm understanding this correctly, so in the Battle Pass season, in the duration, there's usually multiple competitive seasons within the duration of the Battle Pass, right? And what I'm assuming is that with the 5 games left, it's only one of those competitive seasons that you're banned. But with the 10 games that you leave, it's all of them all together. Basically, until the next Battle Pass drops, you wouldn't be able to play comp. Basically, what they're trying to do is that they're trying to encourage more people to stay in the game, whereas they're frustrated that their team's losing, and they just go ahead and just leave the game regardless and have the rest of the team suffer. Moving on with this next point, they go ahead and talk about how they're going to increase the protection for streamers. And basically what they're doing is that with the old Hide My Name tool, they're going to increase its effectiveness by making it so that instead of it just hiding the information on your side, it's also going to hide your information for the whole entire lobby. So this will also decrease the amount of people that would stream snipe Overwatch streamers and would just try to disrupt their gameplay and try to give them a hard time. Another big point that they talked about is how they said they're going to expand the avoid as teammate system. And what they say is that in a future update, you will be able to add up to 10 players on your avoid as teammate list. For most players below Grandmasters, this will likely allow you to avoid all 10 players on your list. Those on the higher end of the rank ladder may still see some of your avoided players that are in lower priority, especially when your queue time gets longer. So basically, what the system is going to do, so people in the lower ranks, they're going to have a higher chance of avoiding all 10 players on your list, whereas people in the higher end, they're most likely going to just see the people, like the top 3 that they won't see. Because one thing that you do got to take into consideration is the fact that the higher you go in rank, the smaller the pool is. So with multiple people using the avoid as teammate system, it's also going to make it harder for you to get in matches in those higher ranks because of the fact that there's not that many people in there, unlike bronze or silver where there's like a huge amount of people in there. Before we get to the next point, if you do enjoy this type of content that I'm doing, why don't you go ahead and, you know, support your boy. Moving on though, they talk about how they're gonna fix Disruptive Chat, and pretty much if you don't know already, in Overwatch, especially in competitive, there's always going to be that group of people that's always going to be toxic and harmful, and they're not using voice chat or text chat to actually help the team out. And what they say is that when a player is actioned for disruptive chat or not playing fairly in the game, we demote their endorsement rating to level 0. Even new players start at level 1, so you can only reach this level if you are actioned for breaking the code of conduct. Coming later this year, we are going to prevent anyone with a level 0 endorsement rating from using any text or voice chat in their matches. These privileges can be restored once the player reaches level 1 again, which is done by playing your best, helping your team, and communicating with the in-game ping system. So basically, what they're doing is that with the level 0 to the endorsement rating is gonna encourage people to have more of a positive criticism in text and voice chat instead of just downright talking down to people. Because one thing that this game is a huge part of this game is communication. Given proper communication can help your team do better in battle. Another point that they go ahead and talk about is how they're gonna make reporting faster in game, because what they do say is that we understand it's not easy to report when you're in the middle of a match, so we're designing an easier to use interface that should enable all players to report as soon as they see disruptive behavior, and we look forward to sharing more later this year. And we don't have too much information yet, but basically, so a lot of people, what they do is that they'll especially in my experience, where if somebody is like throwing the game or doing something like that, they'll say, hey, report so and so at the end of the game. Because reporting somebody in the middle of the game will force you to have to stop moving, stop contributing to the team to report people. And basically what they're doing is that they're making it so that it's a bit faster, so maybe you'll be able to do it like during like the respawn phase or something like that, to make it so that the reportings go through a lot faster. And the last thing that they talked about is how they're going to be introducing player surveys. And what they said is that we'll randomly choose players whenever they complete a match after the end of the match flow, including the play of game and your progression updates. If you are selected, you'll be prompted by a new splash screen with an invitation to participate in an optional survey that you can access by clicking the link or scanning the QR code on your phone. So yeah, basically, after you finish a match, you may or may not be picked, depending on how frequent they push out these surveys, but you may or may not be picked. But if you are picked, if you're on console, you have to scan a QR code, but if you're on PC, it'll take you to a web browser to complete a survey to see how you feel about the game. And the fact that it's completely random means that they're most likely going to have a wide variety of responses. Overall, I do think that Overwatch is going down a pretty good path. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below, or even in my Discord. Link will be in the description below. But yeah, I'll go ahead and catch y'all in the next one. Y'all take it easy.